4,000 professionals across 40 countries in the fields of AI and computational design and architecture. 3,040 countries, and from someone who started as a practicing architect not that long ago. He's the founder of IntelliBuild Group, the co-founder of StageLens AI, a creative partner at Flora AI and Xsigra, and one of the most followed voices in the AEC tech space across LinkedIn and Instagram. He also, and this is the detail I keep coming back to, interned at Studio Lotus, which means the design roots are real. His name is Naman Mehta. He's based in Gurugram and he's here. Naman, welcome to the Geeks Design Studio.
Hi Divya, great to be here, and first of all, thank you for inviting me for this conversation, and really looking forward for the next 15-20 minutes to have a great healthy chat with you. And hi all to all the listeners, thanks for joining us and looking forward.
Thank you so much, and we are looking forward as much as you are, and I would be first of all requesting you to share what you've been working on in the past, and if you're building something new in terms of in your AEC platform, and if you want to give a bit of insight.
Sure. I'll just start by a little introduction about myself. So I'm Naman and I'm based out of Gurugram. I'm an architect by profession, and I'm also an AI consultant in AEC, that is Architecture, Engineering, Construction. So far I've worked with 3,000 plus professionals globally. I started off with a designer at Studio Lotus in 2021, and since the last 3 years I've been working as an AI consultant in this space, and I'm the founder of IntelliBuild Group. So IntelliBuild Group is also my company where we have three particular strict notions, that is IntelliBuild Advisory, IntelliBuild Labs, and IntelliBuild Academy. So as part of IntelliBuild Advisory, we do AI consulting for our AEC companies. We have clients in US, Middle East, in India as well, some in UK, Canada. And along with that, we are also doing the lab stuff, wherein we create software products for ourselves, we launch it in the market, or we create it for you. So we work on B2B basis with multiple AEC specific companies. We have worked with some other types of companies in manufacturing and business administration as well. So we're trying to explore our tangents as much as possible. And the third part is Academy, wherein we do courses, workshops, trainings for companies, either on B2B basis. We keep on running our courses as well on batch-wise or month-wise basis. And this is the particular focus that we currently are having. In terms of company, I can quickly just showcase what we are working on right now.
Yeah, that would be great for the listeners.
Definitely. So I'll just quickly give an overview about my company and my website. So my screen is visible, right?
Yeah.
So this is IntelliBuild Group. So we are focusing on AI for the built world. So what we meant by built world was actually the AEC space. So we have had clients, we have some university clients, some software clients, some architecture clients as well. And just as I said, we have three tangents: advisory, labs, and academy. And we have had worked with more than 50 business clients so far, and again 5,000 plus professionals trained. I've been in this space since the last 7 years, but in this particular AI consultancy, it's been only 3 years, because that is where the main scaling has been happening in the last couple of years. Talking about advisory, we do consultation calls, strategies, governance, risk frameworks, ROI frameworks, etc. Similarly, for labs, we create agents. So agents is the next chapter in this generative AI space. Right now, we are just starting up with actually mixing stuff and generating stuff in the built world. The next step is the automation part, wherein these AI models won't just talk to you, they will do the stuff for you. Some people are already doing some practical applications in this space, such as anti-gravity, NA10. We have Claude Agent, which is getting good amount of traction nowadays. And we are expecting that the space will evolve even more in a couple of years. And after 5 years, there'll be a saturation point just as we had in BIM. And that is where we are providing our expertise in this domain. Similarly, for Academy, since we know that it's a very noble cause to actually create as much of awareness as possible in this space, we keep on doing some free webinars and masterclasses as well, but we also have some courses, very economical courses for each person who is either an architect, designer, BIM expert, computational designer, or an AI enthusiast himself, we are there for you. So yeah, that is about it for IntelliBuild. And I'm also working with some software companies as a creative affiliate. So what is a creative affiliate is that we partner with them, we test the product with them, we give feedback, we give them clients, we get them clients, and we spread the word as much as possible through platforms like LinkedIn and Instagram. So right now I'm a creative partner at 3 companies: Flora AI, Xfigura, and another one is Ideatura AI. So Flora and Xfigura currently focuses on visualization using Miro or Grasshopper like interfaces. We call it node-based systems. And Ideatura AI specifically focus on drafting automation, documentations, etc. So just to give you a little overview of Flora AI, this was just something that I was working in today for concept iteration. So you all know that generating concepts a couple of years back used to take us at least 1 week, 2 weeks of intensive manual modeling. What I target using this workflow is to actually automate the entire workflow and create 5 options for the client as quickly as possible, right? So we were working with a corporate client and we created some facade iterations, but also design translation is important. How do you convey your designs to your clients, right? So we tried to pitch everything in a video format so that we are able to give the best possible output in the least amount of time taken from the client, right? That is very important at the end.
Is it like like Comfy UI kind of interface?
It's like Miro or Grasshopper. Comfy UI is also somewhat similar, but it's very complex. That's a different topic in itself, Comfy UI, but I believe Comfy UI is no longer relevant. I might be controversial at this point because the AI models such as Nano Banana 2, Seedance 2.0, Quen Edit, these models are so smart enough right now that I can say that Comfy UI is no longer relevant. I might be wrong, I can be wrong, but it's my perspective, right?
Yeah, I do agree with you at some point here, because while I was using Comfy UI, even with Nano Banana 2, which is like one of, as you said, one of the smartest tool for image generation so far, I still believe that we are still quite far from having a control over these tools. Like, it's very difficult to control the minute details, and it still makes a bit of error that is it's still not very error free, I would say, and that's something that we should aim to build a tool like that would be able to be very controllable by human in the future.
Of course.
Yeah. So
I believe it's all about pipeline. You're not wrong. Like, there are, we call it hallucinations, right? That AI generates stuff on its own without actually getting the context. So the context is very important. I believe keeping prompt engineering is no longer relevant in terms of structuring the prompt, but in terms of context and data enrichment, it's still very important. So if you were to ask me, how can you help me create 5 facade options for the client, I won't ask you to go on ChatGPT, get 5 prompts of different themes and then generate the result directly. I would recommend you go to platforms like Google Mixboard, which helps you develop mood boards, or some other types of platforms. First generate mood boards, give green thumbs up to that, then translate and move that mood board as a reference, generate a reference style, then only create an image, right? It shouldn't be a one-step approach, it should be a multi-step approach. So that is how I believe you get as much as control possible in this space, right? Multi-step ideation is still the best way forward, and that is how the future will look like, right?
Of course.
That being said, I'll just quickly showcase what I was showcasing in Flora. So again, on Flora, we're creating multiple pipelines for clients, for visualization, and it's not just limited to. So Flora is a very generic platform in this use case, but there are some AEC specific, architecture, engineering, construction specific platform as well, such as Xfigura. So I might have to log in, but again, Xfigura is also something that is focusing primarily on this space. They are already working with clients like BIG, OMA, KPF, Zaha, these architects. So they're already working in this streamline direction. I know the founder, George.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I just wanted to ask quickly, the Flora and Xfigura, these platforms, these are on open sources, right?
Yeah,
so these are okay.
Yeah, like everybody can access it. It's easy to use, and node-based systems actually give you much more control because you can backtrack the entire formulation process. That is not possible on chat-based interfaces like Gemini and ChatGPT, etc. It's really confusing over there. So that is why I always prefer node-based systems. It has always been there for me. Like I prefer such systems. Like I have been a computational designer as well. So I usually prefer that kind of interface, right? So again, this is similar to Flora in terms of UI, and but it primarily focuses on AEC. So it has integrated much more AEC specific tools, such as image to 3D, image to AR, VR, such as World Labs, etc. So I'm a creative partner over there. I give them recommendations. There are editor buttons. So one thing that we usually hear a lot about is LoRa, that is low rank adaptation models. That is pretty native to Comfy UI. That is also integrated here. That is not integrated in Flora. That being said, every platform has pros and cons. So we keep on testing out multiple tools. So another workflow in which we tried to create a 3D interior visual using a reference. So we didn't create and ask it to create in one go because that would have been very difficult. So we guided the model one by one, zoomed in, gave the context, edited the image one by one, until and unless we got a good final result. Right? That is how a healthy image generation process should look like. And apart from that, lots of research and development we do internally as part of our IntelliBuild Labs initiative. One is StageLens AI. That is something that we developed for Indian real estate clients, especially brokers and agents. So our main aim was to just like click a picture of an empty flat, get a furnished image instantly. The main aim to actually increase the visibility on platforms like No Broker, 99 Acres, etc. Because empty flats, they don't look very appealing.
Exactly.
And it's a proven statement that I can say that the 10 to 15% of conversion rate increases if the image is a little it's beautified.
If it's appealing to the buyer, then obviously they would prefer it more. That absolutely, and it's a really nice way you're thinking and using AI. While you were showing that, I was just thinking, how long does it take you to go from that 2D architectural plan to actually a video visualization? Like how much do you have to go on about with that platform, Xfigura?
So you're asking how much time should I spend to create a workflow like that, right?
Yeah.
So on Xfigura, even on Flora, once you create a pipeline, you can save it as a template. So initially it took me around a couple of hours, then I saved it as a template. But now whenever I need to replicate this workflow, I just do it in 2 minutes. I just copy paste the same template. The prompts are fixed, because navigating around prompts that works for you is also a very hectic task. So people don't understand that if you ideate with prompts, you might be actually creating more trouble for you. Instead, document what prompts work for you, save them as templates, and then repeat the process. That is the best way to go about it, right? So initially to create the template, or you can say to discover the template, it took me a couple of hours. Now I just do it in half an hour or so. So it's very easy for me. And it will be like for the clients we work with, we create such templates as well for them, because we want to help them create some repeatable processes for them as well. That is another part of IntelliBuild advisory that we do.
Right.
Yeah.
So quite recently, I was following up with, I was following the same workflow, but not on this platform. I was trying to take again a 2D architectural plan, and then I went to ChatGPT or Gemini Pro, and I created a prompt. So that's like, I'm talking about a very, I would say an ancient way of going about it. Like when people don't know about these platforms, I created a prompt, and then I went on VO AI, and then I used that prompt and gave the initial image, which kind of surprisingly created a very close the 3D and visualization, which was quite surprising. But the amount of time that you have to go back and forth by creating the right prompt is very important. So I think that you said that saving the template save a lot of time, that you can just use the same template and just change a couple of details in it, and it works.
Yeah. So again, one thing that you would notice that on platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, the image models, they tend to get confused much faster as compared to these third-party integrators, because there's a term called fine-tuning. These models are like a big, you would say, river, and these platforms are like very specialized canals, right? So in order to access those specialized canals, you have to use these kind of platforms, and they perform much better nonetheless. That is where, terms like RAG, retrieval augmented generation, and fine-tuning comes into the chapter, because it actually gives you control, and that is there. There are other platforms like VV as well. There is Flora, and Xfigura is something I'm already working with. FreePick is also very, very easy to access. FreePick, I think, is the most famous out of all of them. They have a specialized page called Spaces that is also there.
Yeah, I think I've explored. So there's a lot of Chinese platforms as well. As you were talking about Seed Dance, I think that's quite nice. And then I think there's Topo Labs, if I'm not wrong, Topo Labs or something. But anyways, there are like so many multiple different platforms. But what I've struggled with so far, until now, till date, is that I try to create something which somehow creates, like, even if I'm able to create a very close output that I wanted to, if I'm trying to recreate that again, it's very difficult to go back to it. Like, next time it will create something else, and another time it will create something else. So that's what I'm trying to figure out, like, to get more control over these tools. And if there is something like that in the market, which is open source.
Yeah. Like earlier, it was very difficult to access, but since the last 7 months, 8 months, it has been. Flora has been there since the last couple of years. It has been doing it. I think it was amongst the first companies to actually integrate the system. But ComfyUI is also there, but the problem with ComfyUI is it's inaccessible. It's very difficult to use. It requires heavy computation. It requires credits. So it was never my go-to platform since day one. Right? I have had worked with this before. Like, I know a couple of collaborators with whom I work. They keep on using ComfyUI, but they themselves say that it's obsolete right now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Okay, so I would like to dive deep into this topic, but before that, I wanted to really ask about your professional journey, going back to the beginning, about Studio Lotus, because that's a very specific place to start your career. And what did that give you, and what you still carry from that place, and your honest opinion about it?
Yeah, sure. Studio Lotus is amongst the those chapters of my life that I never forget, because it was my first time diving into the real world in this architecture life. And in India, you must know that architecture, to practice architecture or to even do a job in architecture is very difficult. So I was already scared to go into that space. There was a couple of overlaps that made the journey a little hectic because of COVID and all of that. Because it was in 2021, so second wave of COVID came in, and the learning became disrupted. That being said, I really loved Studio Lotus. I'm still in touch with many of the people who were back there working with me. Yes, I got stuck by a reality check that you have to work a lot in architecture industry. And when I say work a lot, the thing that we used to learn in our architecture school, architecture college, was concept design, ideating, research. That was what we thought is the main architecture. Apparently, that is not. That's only, I would say, the 10%. Then things come like drafting, documentation, management, correspondence, site visits, etc. Once I understood that there's a lot of manual work involved, lot of repetitive work involved. Like, I have had spent 16 plus hours a day at Studio Lotus at that time. And out of those 16 hours, I was actually spending 15 hours or 14 hours on modeling, right? So in some way, I can say that that was the starting point for me to actually, look into automation workflows. Then I dived into some more automation approaches, such as BIM and computational design. And that is where my entire background got contextualize. Like the actual problem or the pain point that I saw, that was we are still doing a lot of manual work that is no longer relevant. So why should we do the manual work? Yes, many people still believe in doing manual work, but I believe on doing meaningful manual work, like doing sketching, doing ideation, performing concept design on paper. That is the best thing to do about it. But software-wise, increasing your screen time on doing modeling tasks, doing drafting work, I still feel that it's still best to automate that rather than actually doing that manually. But apart from that, Studio Lotus had been a great journey. The best thing about that, since I was just an intern, but the culture over there is such that they give you full responsibility of the project. They trust you, not as soon as you land there, but after a couple of months. And I got some appreciation for a couple of projects as well initially. So that gave me a lot of confidence that yes, I can do project lead stuff as well. And that is where it was a good starting point for anybody's architecture journey.
Right, that's very interesting. But I mean, it's going to sound a bit controversial, but did you feel that there was a lack of work-life balance there, or there's still a need to add, to go towards a bit more computational and to enhance their workflow in terms of incorporating more AI tools in that, and still they're doing very, like as you said, like a lot of modeling and a lot of drafting and stuff. So
like work-life balance, to be honest, in India, in architecture space, it doesn't exist, to be honest. That's the hard reality that we have over here. Then I had worked with a couple of MNCs in this space as a computational designer after. Then I realized that it's not just in India, it's globally, right?
Yeah.
In India, it's very, it's more bad, but globally also, it's still one of those I mean, there's no such thing as work-life balance. That being said, the main reason that I didn't feel like that, because with the intent I went into that company was to learn as much as possible in the tenure of 6 months, right? So I didn't ever feel that I need work-life balance, because I only had 6 months. So I thought, why not spend and give it as much as it takes, because that way I will also be able to have a good head start in my career, right? I will be able to get the most out of the least amount of time. But in long term, I can say that it can be pretty difficult. Like I have seen people who health-wise were not in that great shape, or internally also they were facing some problems, because screen time is not that great at the end. You're sitting on a desk for 12 hours, 13 hours, doing drafting and all of that. You're actually creating some problems for your physical back or something like that. People start seeing these things in their bodies after 3-4 years. Then they realize that work-life balance is important, or getting a job wherein you're moving actively or there is some active participation is important.
Yeah.
But I never felt that personally, but I also believe that in longer term, I also wouldn't be able to do all of that people were doing for 2-3 years. For 6 months, it was fine for me, to be honest.
Yeah, correct. And especially talking about work-life balance, it's very rare to find being an architect in general. Like it requires a lot of your creative and your physical capabilities. But yeah, that's something that makes this profession quite unique as well. And anyway, so we mentioned about the numbers in the beginning when we were doing the introduction, and I would like to dive deep into, we were talking about 3,000 professionals and 40 countries, and I need the actual story of how that happened. And because I don't think it was a strategy, I think it started with something much simpler, I believe. So yeah, please walk me through it.
Okay, so it was very organic, to be fair. I initially started off as a computational designer. And in my last company, the main role of computational designer was also to do research. So at that time, AI was picking up pace. So I started doing some AI research. I got some good results. And in my company after Studio Lotus, a couple of companies after, I joined 5D. It's also based in Gurgaon. Previously, it was known as HKS India. So over there, I was an AI researcher slash computational designer, and uh, the company, like again, credits to the company for giving me that confidence. But the company initially reached out to me to give workshops internally of the new tools that you saw. Reasons to upscale the internal team, showcase what's new happening in the space. So that was a starting point wherein I discovered my teaching capabilities, my training capabilities. After that, again, I left the company, thought of starting my own practice. So now, since I'm running my own consultancy and practice, I initially, again, just for a passive income, I just created a couple of recordings, couple of courses. I uploaded it on Udemy, right? And Udemy, it worked out, like not on, I would say, very well in terms of commercials. But again, I've already had many, like thousands of learners from Udemy itself. Then I understood that yes, there is a good acumen over there, and it's good for your company as a consultation as well, because it actually spreads the word out. People don't understand that training and education, yes, it's good commercially speaking, but I believe the secondary aspect about this, that it gets you good business, it gets you good reputation, is more important. So spreading the word out, training professionals, talking with them, understanding their problems, trying to teach them the right way, right workflows, right tools, is a great way of actually spreading your business. So with that intent, we started giving masterclasses, webinars. Many of them were free. Then we started doing courses, and now we are still doing courses. And that is how we have. And also we also started working on B2B basis. So I've worked with companies in Middle East, some in Canada, some in US, in India also. I then gave some workshops in universities like Chitkara University. I was invited at my previous university where I studied architecture, DPRS in Haryana only. So again, in university workshops came into the chapter. I gave a couple of workshops with Council of Architecture as well then. Because so that is how this training process started, and that number came about.
Okay, right. Interesting. That's something really inspiring, I would say, to be honest. So we were talking about 3,000 people and the community. So I would like to know about that community. Is it's worldwide, right? Like, what's the percentage of the computational designers or learners in, especially this field? I still feel that it's a bit that we're just scratching the surface, to be honest, and it still needs to be explored quite a lot as compared to what we are doing right now abroad. And what are your thoughts about it?
So if I talk about firms abroad, so most of them are architects, interior designers, real estate developers, for the fact have also worked with me a lot. And in Middle East, lots of them are architects, interior designers. So most of my clientele were either from UAE, Qatar, Kuwait. Some of them were in US, and some in Canada as well. Most of them are architects, interior designers. Engineers, I would say, is less than 10% because I'm not an engineer myself. And since visualization is the most developed part of any AEC journey in terms of AI software development, it's not relevant for engineers that way. That being said, I have worked with some engineers, especially structural engineers, for auditing, drawing reviews, quality assessment and quality checking, etc. But it's still less than 10%. I would say majority is architects and interior designers. I have also worked with this, I would say, EdTech platform. I'm not sure if you've heard about that, Designopolis. It's on Instagram. I know the founder. I'm working as a mentor over there as well. So they keep on arranging these architecture and interior design workshops, and I mentor it for them. I conduct 3-day workshops for them. Most of them are Indians, architects, practitioners, and interior designers. And as part of what I have been conducting myself, most of it is global audience because I keep on posting stuff on LinkedIn, and most of the connections are global because in India, AI consultancy, especially in AEC, is not that developed yet. There are very few players that you find over here. So we leverage that, but we also try to make it as global as possible. 40 plus, I would say, is just a small number. I don't know exactly how many countries I've worked with so far, This is just the demographic that I got from Udemy and other consultancy platforms with whom I do trainings. Informally, I don't know how many countries and how many players so far. That's why just a vague number, 3,000 plus. And most of them. And in India, in terms of learning, yes, people are now starting to learn about it. They are showing their inclination in learning about this. But there's a term we call AI maturity. So the AI maturity in India is still very low. Like in US, in the West, 92% of the firms have started integrating AI at some level. In India, it's maybe less than 10%. Right?
Yeah.
Learning about Midjourney and ChatGPT is not integrating AI. It's about actually targeting each role.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And because I think sometimes I feel in India, we feel like the AI conversation is happening somewhere else, like in Silicon Valley or some European studio. And we are actually in the middle of it. But this brings me back to a conversation that I was having with Studio Lotus and a couple of other studios in the past, who wanted to actually explore this realm of AI and design and how we can integrate in architecture. But in their studio itself, they wanted to explore a new department of that. But at the same time, like people still are a bit vigilant on how much they can explore in that front and how much they can integrate that part in their workflow. They feel like they do not want to lose their skill set, or they do not want to lose their hand to muscle memory and all of that. So I don't know, like up to what extent we should utilize it in our day-to-day life, being an architect, in our workflow, and like how much it can help us to kind of ease out our tasks. Or as you said, like when you were showing that Xfigura platform, you can actually go from a 2D architectural plan to a visualization video in just like a day or something, which would actually take you like a couple of days probably. You would be doing it manually. So yeah, that's quite interesting thing to say.
I mean, like if you don't do it, your competitor will. There's a term called first mover advantage. You can't actually foreshadow that. Like you have to make sure that you are actually being up to date. So people tend to confuse AI as a next step of BIM. Of course, it's not. BIM is a very different approach to things. Traditional AutoCAD workflows is a different approach to things. Everything comes under the umbrella of AI. That means CAD workflows can also be automated, BIM workflows can also be automated. So why do we keep talking about terms automated? We have to target the repetitive workflows. No one's talking about the creative workflows involved in our companies. So when people are being skeptical and vigilant about how much should they integrate, if they don't, the competitor will, right? What you should target, what you should promote is creative thinking, critical thinking, design evaluation, credibility, building up relations, scaling up businesses, because you will be more productive if you integrate these manual workflows, these manual automation workflows. What you should focus on, getting more business so that demand is there, right? So it shouldn't be something that people should be scared about. It won't replace people. Of course, there's going to be a dynamic business shift in the next 5 years. And this is not me saying, this is what World Economic Forum says in their documents, that by 2030, there's going to be huge skill shortage in this AI expertise, especially. And generative AI will be the most required or looked into skill set in the next 5 years. So if you don't do it, your competitor will. You can't just ignore the fact that people are adopting about it. And to be honest, tools nowadays are so great that you can actually automate 50% of any interior design or architecture studio can automate 50% of the workflow just like that.
Yeah, definitely. Even quite recently, I got email from COA. I think there was an AI summit happening in February, And they're trying to work on some smart city project which heavily involves AI and automation into it by 2047 or something. So I'm pretty sure that like the world is aware of it, and India is catching up as well. India is quite aware of it as well, and we will surely be trying to make this a part of our architectural studios smartly in the future.
Yes, hopefully.
Yeah. Anyway, so I wanted to talk about StageLens AI as well, as we talked about it in the beginning, because this is such a specific real-world application. And tell me what exactly it does and how it came about.
So again, it's just a simple application that we created. Again, it's been more than 6-7 months we have launched this product. It's a white-coded product from scratch. I'm not a software developer. Yes, I know about right software tools, right API integrations, right technical terms to integrate it, since I'm a non-technical product manager. That being said, we created this application to actually solve the problem for real estate clients, real estate players, to actually increase the conversions. You can just simply upload your interior flat, and I just start sharing your screen.
Yeah,
you just have to upload any interior space that you like. Let me just see if I can upload any space. Let us suppose this is any interior space, right? So we have fine-tuned this as per Indian requirements. That is the main USP that we had, and we have fine-tuned it in 4 styles, such as modern Indian, Kerala traditional, Rajasthani, Indo-Bohemian. Then you have to select the room type, and if the room is already staged with furniture, you can simply ask it to clear the room and it will remove all the items, right? It's just a mock-up software, to be honest. We just launched it to develop some B2B business with some companies, and it's just for showbiz, I would say, but it gives more understanding about how can you create. So it just emptied the entire platform. Now it's ready for staging. So I just have to select what kind of space is this. For example, living room. I have to select, let's just select Kerala tradition, and it will start generating variations. That is the main intent. Very simple product, very straightforward product. It took us maybe a couple of days to make it, but the intent and to actually target what you need to solve should be there. With that intent, we created this software. Right? So it's generating, it will take a couple of minutes, and that is how we created this software. We also keep on trying out new software. So again, we created another code assist AI. So we keep on seeing that people need to do source checking when they're working with compliance, especially compliance. So that's a little difficult part, because as soon as you get some answers from any LLM, large language model, you need to do source checking. That's a manual work in itself. So what we were just trying to ideate over here is to, again, creating something on Claude for that. You just have to select what kind of bylaw you want to search. As soon as it gives you an output, it will give you a page number and a chapter number. But not only that, it will actually cite the entire line for you. That I got this line from here, I got this line from here. It really solves the entire process for you. Right? Again, we keep on exploring solutions, and that is a part of IntelliBuild Labs. Right? It's going to take some time, because we have maybe added NanoBanner Pro at the back end. So it can depend on the basis of the usage it's happening globally. But yeah, this is about it for.
So this is basically for the buyers; they can actually see it in real time, and
so this is the kind of output that we got.
Oh, right? That's really nice. That's really cool.
Yeah, it still needs some editing. It still needs some post production, but it's good for quick post production workflows to increase conversions and all.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes, it's for B2B companies. 99 acres, no broker. They can integrate this software. They can have an AI feature enabled. We give them the API. They can integrate that, and whenever a user uploads a photo that he wants to rent, put out to rent or put out to sell, you just have to select enhance it with AI. It will be enhanced with AI, and it will stage it for them, and that way they'll get higher conversion rates. So that is what the basic goal we had. Very basic product, only for B2B basis that we usually showcase this. but there are thousands of use cases, to be honest, right? So
this is a really smart move. It brings me back to my time when I was working for a company called Access Building Contractors. They were doing design and build and residential properties like £1 million show homes in London. So what they would do is basically, because those were supposed to be show homes, they would design the property and then they would liaise with and contact a couple of staging people, like staging designers, and they would come and give their quotation and they would stage it for them. And it used to like take a lot of time, effort, money, and all of that. So it resolves so much of the hassle, which is quite exciting.
And that too with a fraction of money. That was the main intent, to actually remove the process of physical staging, the photography, the entire process that it needs to take.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So I wanted your suggestion and your opinion in terms of there's a growing conversation in design schools about whether AI is actually eroding design thinking, that young architects are reaching for the tool before they have developed any instinct. So do you think that it's something that's worrying and will be worrying in the future? Like,
so there has been some studies from OpenAI as well that people have started using less percentage of the brain, something like that. And to be honest, it could be there. I won't nullify this statement. Personally speaking, I don't encourage using AI for concept design and actually evaluating spaces, creating basic mockups. The initiate steps should be taken by you and you only. That being said, look, at the end, a person who used to do manual drafting had more idea about the design than a person who was doing work on AutoCAD. Yeah. Similarly, a person who was doing work on Revit had less idea about the design than the person working on AutoCAD, right? Similarly, we could say the same for AI. I believe it is true, and people will start thinking less about design, but more about efficient systems. But people should also think that it's a necessary step for something greater, because now you have PhD level assistants who will actually guide you to create much efficient designs. So at the end, the job, the main entrepreneurship that you have as an architect to actually solve problems using built spaces, if it's efficient, you are actually solving problems. Biologically speaking, or theoretically speaking, it may impact the critical thinking. It may be already impacted globally, but people has to be still sharp. Like in terms of education, the basics should never be removed. Like I don't believe integrating AI or creating a separate program in colleges is right now relevant, because the space is so fast moving. You can't create a good future-proof curriculum, first of all. Second, if you want to actually encourage critical thinking, people don't focus on AI as the first step. AI should always be an approach. It should not. It's not the way of thinking, right?
Yeah. So you would definitely say that, especially the growing generation, the people who are in school, universities, who are the aspiring designers, should learn to design first and learn to have a design thinking, and then incorporate AI in their workflow.
Absolutely,
yeah.
That is very important.
Yeah. And also the gap between what school teaches and what practice needs. That's your entire business model. Like that's something that's quite important as well. So whatever boundaries we can push and whatever we can learn in our school and our university environment is something that we'll have to come out of and incorporate more things when we are actually working as a practitioner anyways.
Yes.
So yeah. So anyways, I had this question in my head, that where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like, where does Naman see himself and everything you're building? And what's the version of the story you're actually trying to make real?
Again, I have lots of aspirations, to be honest, for the next 5 years. Again, to scale the business up, because the next 5 years, business-wise, is a good opportunity for me, because there are no players right now in the market who's providing such services, and that too in this particular niche. And to scale it up, again, not in terms of people, because I believe in keeping teams lean and efficient rather than bulky and inefficient. I'm not a people's person. I don't like pleasing people. I don't like to create false hopes. So that way, I'm not good at managing people HR wise. That being said, I like to work with a small group of people, as I usually do right now. So talking about me, after 5 years, it may be me and 9 more people or 10 more people. That is all. In terms of company, yes, I want to make it more global. The presence should be more for me. And I don't wish to limit myself in this particular sector, that is architecture, engineering, and construction. I wish to expand my tangents to sectors like manufacturing, education is also, the AI and education is also a big factor, and manufacturing, business administration, a bunch of other domains as well. That gives me more opportunities to learn. So I don't want to stop learning, because this domain requires me to talk about, learn about, test about new tools every other day. That is a part of my consultancy. So after 5 years, hopefully scaling the business up, small group of people, maybe testing more tools, and yeah.
So this brings me back again to the number that we were talking about. If 30,000 people across 40 countries become AI fluent, then in a way you were describing, then what would that look like for you?
To be honest, it's not the number 3,000, 4,000, whatever is not, to be honest, important for me. What's important for me is that people are learning about it, right? I don't have any benchmark that I should be able to train these amount of people in this amount of time or something like that. That being said, as many as people I can educate, create awareness for, help them out. Like, I've helped out a bunch of people as well previously. If they are not able to actually afford something in terms of this learning, but they really look into learning about it, I usually help them with whatever resources I can provide in terms of AI education. That is something that we should never forget, being an Indian, that we should have always that character of helping people out. And I don't think that there is a particular number for that, but hopefully I won't be the one who is doing AI education. Maybe my correspondents who will be doing that, because that is not something that I plan to do in long term. But yeah, right now I'm enjoying it, so I'm just doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I have one last question for you, and I promise this will be the last question. So what would you say to an architect? Especially, I've had a lot of architect friends in the past who still keep putting off the AI part and AI side of the things that we are talking about right now. So what would you say to an architect right now today who knows they need to engage with AI but just keeps putting it off?
To be honest, I personally haven't seen someone who keeps putting it off, but I understand what you're trying to say, and it's not because they don't prefer putting it off, but they don't allow themselves, personally speaking, because architects, especially, they live inside a bubble of their own problems and their own workflows and all projects they're trying to solve, which is great. That should never be ignored. That is the most noble thing that any architect can do. That being said, again, if you don't do it, again, first mover advantage is also there. Since reputed companies like World Economic Forum, Harvard Graduate School of Design, they are saying that it's going to be the most important skill in the next 5 years, then you have to upskill yourself if you wish to stay relevant. Because again, a very famous term, AI won't replace people, but people who learns about AI will replace people who doesn't know about AI. That is the hard reality. Right?
That's so true. That's really true.
And that is the hard reality. I don't wish to demotivate anyone, but that is also something that you could say for a person who's still doing manual drafting in today's day and age, right? Who is drafting on a pen paper for elevation sections. That guy has no place right now in this AEC industry, right? Unfortunately. That is how industry works. Similarly, people who don't learn about AI will also may not be relevant after 5 years. So that is there. I'm not demotivating anybody, but just giving you an insight about how the world is moving right now in this space.
Yeah, exactly. That's so true. And then we have to catch up with the current trends, and we have to be on top of all the knowledge that we need to improvise our workflows at the same time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. All right, Naman. This has been one of my favorite conversations this season so far, to be honest. And you gave me the educational side of the knowledge, and the real side, the practicing side, and obviously you're doing your own thing as well. So that's been quite informative. And I'm sure this will be very informative for the viewers and the listeners as well. So thank you so much for that.
Definitely looking forward. And again, thank you for providing this opportunity to spread awareness as I keep doing as much as I could.
Yeah.
And really looking forward.
Okay, so before I let you go, I wanted to ask, where can people find you, and where are you the most reachable if somebody wants to learn from your platform?
Yeah, I keep on publishing on YouTube and Instagram as well, but I'm not that active over there because it's still a very particular niche that my target audience is not there on platforms like Instagram and YouTube. You can find me on LinkedIn. I'm very much active on LinkedIn. So maybe you can just drop in my LinkedIn in your description. People can find me out over there. And I keep on launching masterclasses, webinars on my LinkedIn itself. So once they get connected with me, they can just look out for new masterclasses that I keep on launching. If they're interested, they can join. It's always open for everyone. There is no restriction.
All
and
right.
It's mostly free. Yeah.
Okay. So if there's no sign up fees or anything?
Yeah, nothing. For most masterclasses, yeah. But for courses stuff, that is a different venture.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing all of this information, and I'm really grateful that you came to the show today. And yeah, I'm looking forward to connect with you sometime again in the future. And yeah, I would just close by saying that I'm Divya Goyal, and this was episode 7 of the Geeks Design Studio. And thank you again for being exactly the kind of guest and being true. And
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. Talk to you soon.
Before I let you go, I mean, I'm not recording this. It's something personal. Have you stopped recording?
Shall I?